all too well. How are you, Sylvia?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Doing well, and welcome to Let's Talk NMB.
I
Uh,
am so honored to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting
yeah,
me.
sure. And I know that you've been on before as just as a spectator on the show that we had for this show to speak with our community partners, to speak with those out in who are friends of North Miami Beach and who are just friends and neighbors overall. And so we're happy to have you. When I didn't see you for a while, I went, wow, I know there's a lot circling in your world where you operate. And so I was wondering what was going on. And then I was wondering if this is the behavior of people who are within the League of Legendary Women scheme.
So I am never late for anything. Going around and around on my computer and won't let me log on.
Just so you know, Sylvia was recently voted as voted in the league of was just given the title of League of Legendary Women by Light Miami. So we want to congratulate you on that. And I thought probably you'd have been wearing a sash and a crown, but I know it just doesn't fit.
I would if they gave me one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think there's feedback on your end. Maybe somebody else in there is, or maybe one equipment is not muted. Would you say something now, Sylvia?
Yes. Okay.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
Finally logging on, but I'll stay on my phone, so no problems.
Great, thank you. Well, it's been a busy time for you, and I know we're going to get into it, but just tell us overall, I mean, how do you keep up? On the 7th, it was National Cancer Survivors Day. And then I think yesterday was World Blood Donor Day.
Yes.
And I know you're...
Today is International Neuroblastoma Day, which is the cancer that my baby had.
Yes, yes. And so there's a whole lot there. How do you do it? How do you keep up?
Well, I try my best to keep up with everything and help the families and do what I can. There's something every single day, and I try to share and make the community aware of everything that's going on, especially like yesterday was World Blood Day. It is so, so important for people to share, to donate blood, because that's what our kids with cancer and really anybody who is undergoing cancer treatments, they rely on those blood products for survival. So
yes, and we're actually, our HR department, our human resources department is actually looking into what we can do in that effort. So expect something from NMB in a big way soon. So yes, we are.
And every time we have an event with the city, we always have the big red bus here. And unfortunately, you know, our latest events have been canceled, but we can still absolutely do a blood drive. That would be amazing.
Yes, yeah. I'll tell you, as to the significance of today, I think having been friends, I've shared some of that with you. Didn't have the pleasure of knowing Sal, but many of us felt that we have lived him with you. And so I know today is a particularly, another of those particularly reminding days for us. And so again, we just want to say that we're here with you. All right.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the day? Because I know you have done a lot to champion days like this.
So today is International Neuroblastoma Day, and it is a day just to bring awareness to the disease. There are a lot of childhood cancers. There's 12 childhood cancers, of which there's hundreds of subtypes. But neuroblastoma is the most common solid tumor in children. Children under 1 year old have a much higher rate of survival than older children. And sometimes even without treatment, it just goes away on its own. So a lot of times, many oncologists prefer not to treat the disease. In children older than 2, the relapse rate is very, very high. And although we have made great strides in the treatment of neuroblastoma, once a child does relapse, the survival rate becomes very dismal. There are many survivors of neuroblastoma that have relapsed, but not many. So we're trying our hardest to change that and trying to find a cure for all cancers, especially the very, very aggressive ones like neuroblastoma.
And we're right there with you, just to help with that cause in whichever way we can. I know we have helped in a lot of those efforts. We're getting the word out to our community at large whenever we've had those situations. I want to welcome Commissioner Phyllis Smith here on the forum. Good afternoon, Commissioner. Let me just talk to you a little bit, Sylvia, about Heroes Hangout, its intentions. I mean, I see you're there right now. In the middle of this, in trying to find a very sterile environment for kids who have cancer, I mean, this hangout was created. And then COVID-19 hit. And this little reprieve, this little alcove, this little safe zone was now impacted by everything else. How have you been managing with that?
So unfortunately, we also did have to close because even though no one comes in here, we are closed to the public, and no one else comes in here except for our families. It was still a little too dangerous to have them here because our children are so immunocompromised. The average cold for a normal person is no big deal, but it could kill a child battling cancer because of their immune system. So we did close. We have just recently opened, and we've opened to one family at a time per day, just in case. And I mean, I'm really sad because the kids love being here so much. This is just a place where they don't have to think about the hospital. They don't have to think about tubes or getting blood or doing chemo. Here they just have fun. They can be regular kids. And I'm very proud of the fact that it's here in North Miami Beach because this was Sal's city. This was his home, and he loved it here. And I know that he would have just loved it. Every decision in here was based on what I thought he would like. And our families are really, really thankful because it's not only just for the kids, it's for the siblings, it's for the parents. There's nothing more heartwarming to a parent than to see their child happy, especially when they're going through something so torturous and so traumatic. So when they're here and they see their kids running around and playing, it really, really makes such a huge difference. And also the fact that they can come here and they can shop for toys at no cost, of course. A lot of these parents, they have no money to go out and buy their child a toy. So for them to be able to come here and let their kids pick out some toys to have fun with and to pass the time in the hospital or at home, that's really, it's so important. And I am so thankful to our community because everything in here is community supported. Everything is donated. Yes. And I'm thankful to Victor Dante who sponsors our hangout. We pay no rent. So really it is a community effort.
Yes, it's a really, really good cause. And while I was there at the grand opening, I have not been able to visit recently, and it's for a good reason. But just tell me, when how many families are a part of the Heroes Hangout, and what's a typical day like when they come to Heroes Hangout? Okay,
so we have huge parties, and everyone has so much fun. Every party has a different theme. So sometimes we partner with other organizations like Ride to Revive from Prestige Imports. We had a party where they brought Lamborghinis and took our kids, the families, the siblings, they took them for rides. And also our police department joined us and they got to go on police rides. Sometimes we have the superhero parties and we dress up heroes. We give the kids superhero costumes. We have lots of superhero toys for them. So those are our big parties. We have at least one big party every month. And then besides that, what we do is we do play dates. So the kids can choose another friend from the hospital that they want to come here and have a play date with. We also celebrate birthday parties. And then we're open by appointment only. So, you know, they don't just come and knock on the door. We need to know they're coming so that we can prepare, and they can play video games, choose toys. We do all different crafts. That's what we do.
Yeah. So they get a semblance of some sort of normalcy,
Yes.
in a very sterile environment. You know, Sylvia, I've seen the different efforts. I've seen the videos when you're going to Washington. I've seen all of those, and you know, the marches that you've been involved with just to bring awareness. And no doubt you've studied this a lot. So are some of the childhood cancers things that new moms can check for or can detect in an early thing just by them seeing?
So unfortunately, most childhood cancers don't have known causes, and they mimic regular childhood cancers, regular childhood things like colds and stomach flus and things like that. So, and there is no test that you can give a child to see if they have cancer. And unfortunately, for most kids, they already have metastasized disease by the time that they are diagnosed. Kids don't get cancer from smoking or from outside reasons. Most childhood cancers, only some of them have genetic reasons. Other than that, unfortunately, at the moment, for what we know of, most childhood cancers are really just bad luck.
Are just what, Sylvia? I'm sorry.
Are just bad luck.
Mm.
No environmental factors or anything like that that cause most childhood cancers. And some of our childhood cancers still remain terminal upon diagnosis, such as which is what Neil Armstrong's daughter died of in 1962. And in all of these years, there still have been no treatment to help these children. It is an inoperable brain tumor that is terminal upon diagnosis. And it's so sad and it's so terrible that our government spends so much money on so many things, and that we can't spend the money to try to find a cure for these children.
Yeah, it's very touching. You know, I think we lived that with a former employee of ours whose daughter just started to. I mean, he just notices when she was taking a picture at Christmas with a family, I noticed that their eyes were just drifting apart. And by the time they got diagnosed, and there was just a complete life change that was not detectable before. So, you know, we share with you, and each time I see a post from you, or I talk about you, or I see the effort that goes into the different things that you do, I'm reminded of this. How are you doing with volunteers, and how do volunteers play a part with Heroes Hangout, or just overall with Mystic Force Foundation?
So we are an all volunteer organization. We have no paid employees. I'm a volunteer. We are all volunteers. And right now, we don't really need volunteers in the Hangout, or because unfortunately, we don't have any. We have been doing everything that we normally do, like on a monthly basis for the last 7 years. We've been doing inpatient hospital parties, and then we do have volunteers that come with us. We bring hundreds of toys, snacks, a different restaurant or individual donates the food for the evening. So we do need volunteers for those things, but right now we're doing all of those virtually. We drop everything off at the hospital, and they set everything up, and then they send us pictures, and we, FaceTime and things like that. We do need volunteers for other things. Like right now, we really need toys. because we continue to give away hundreds of toys every month to our kids. At home now, you know, at the hospital, like I said, the parents can come here and pick up toys as well. So toys are really important. Another thing that we're also doing, which I forgot to mention, is we are doing 100% of our money always goes to research. But at this time, some of our families are struggling so much that we have started an emergency financial assistance due to COVID-19. So these families that are really, really in dire need of funds are sent to us from the hospital, and we provide them with financial assistance.
Let's say I wanted to donate some toys. Is there a particular age group? And probably I should ask you as well, you know, what the age group is with kids at Heroes Hangout. But is there a particular age group and, you know, the dollar value of the toy, or how do we go about doing that?
As long as the toys are brand new and unwrapped, we can receive them. And we have children of all ages, from 3 months old up to 18.
Wow.
Older kids, we try to give them gift cards or different things like that, sometimes headphones, things that the older kids would like. And our newest program, as soon as we are able to reopen on a full-time basis, is we will be starting to have teenage parties here, because it's kind of hard. Right now we have a mixture, they all come in at the same time when we have our parties, but sometimes it's better to have the teenagers do their own thing together.
Yeah. Just for the purpose of anyone who may be watching this and wondering, who's not really familiar with Heroes Hangout and Mystic Foundation, you want to give us some websites and some phone numbers, just in case there are others who want to volunteer to donate?
Absolutely. So our website is www.mysticforcefoundation.com. It is undergoing maintenance at the moment. So everything right now is on our Instagram, which we share daily, and on our Facebook page, which both are Mystic Force Foundation.
Okay, great. And then the telephone numbers, Sylvia, or that?
305-726-1155. And that's a 24-hour-a-day phone number. You can text, call, whatever. I'm always here to help any family or anyone who wants to help us, help our children.
How has that grown, Sylvia? I mean, based upon where you started and where you are today.
So we started in 2008. Sal was still in treatment in 2008. We started very small then. We started the foundation because we realized how little money goes to research, and we were going to do everything we could to try to find a cure for Sal and all the other kids like him. So we started doing one event a year, and it started right here at Reynolds Park. We had a big walk, a family walk, and it's just grown so much to so many other things. We have different events every single month, not only just for our kids, but of course to raise money to try to find a cure for all of them.
Great, thanks, Sylvia. I know that the time, a half an hour runs off real quick, and especially when you have an interesting topic, something that we probably don't know a lot about, but I know there may be others on here who would like to speak with you, ask you a few questions. Okay. And some, I just want to open it up now for anyone. Is there?
Oh, Ketley just did.
Ketley, I think Ketley Josham.
She just raised her hand.
NMB. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Hi, Ketley.
Hi, Sylvia. How are you? Thank you so much for coming to this forum. I would like to say thank you for sharing your life, Sal's life, with all of us. It's interesting when you share a little boy that most of us never met. I never met Sal, but when you write these lengthy things on Facebook or Instagram, and we get to know him, I think I remember one time telling you, I think you need to write a book about Sal, because this little boy seems to be so interesting. And that picture that you post one time when he went to that lingerie place and touching the mannequin booty.
Okay, Kathleen, okay.
He was so funny. He was so, as men up there, that little boy was so funny. And at times, you know, when you post about sharks and things, when you know, sharks coming and the things that he loved. So I want to thank you so much, because through you and Mystic Force Foundation, because I have grandchildren and you know, and a lot of kids in my family, and all of us who are following you, been able to make sure that we give back and try to help out when it comes down to Mystic Force Foundation. And remember that when we purchase from Amazon, I don't know if you have told us that, Amazon, that when you purchase from Amazon, you can just go and click on Mystic Force and, you know,
Thank you.
there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you for that. I see Commissioner Smith has raised her hand. Yes, Commissioner Smith, you're on. Good.
Well, what I don't think you've emphasized enough, and I too was on that first march, and I don't think what you've emphasized enough is she has gone national and international. Sylvia started out with such a heartache for herself, but then all of a sudden there was no selfishness in this. This was for everybody. And the biggest thing that I've always had the pleasure of knowing this family is when people start to complain, I tell them the story and give them something to complain about.
Yeah.
So here we are, North Miami Beach. The opportunity, by the way, I have a ton of toys. We have the opportunity to support this, for the nation to recognize how little is ever spent for children. And I'll never forget when I heard her husband, which she doesn't mention that her husband's a doctor. And that's an important part of the equation, because it affected all. And as a doctor, when everybody looked to him to do something, that's where it ends. It ends where there was nothing to be done. But he said, and I'll never forget it, if we can correct this in children, there would be no adult cancer. We have to start with children, and then there wouldn't be adult cancer. So the only thing I can say is I'm eternally grateful that there are people like her that give of their time for everybody that could possibly need it in their family and their friends. And I just wanted to say that. How many times she's gone to Washington with the door slapped in her face, you know what? She went back again. So for that, I wanted the public to know. And thank you for allowing me the opportunity.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Sorry, Sylvia, you were saying? I may have interrupted you.
No. I was just thanking Commissioner Smith. Thank you so much. And yes, I agree. It's going to Washington. I was actually supposed to be in Washington last week. That was Childhood Cancer Advocacy Week. And unfortunately, because of COVID, everything has been shut down. But our kids are still battling cancer, and I will still fight for them no matter what.
Great. Did I see someone else's hand go up? Commissioner Smuckler.
Hi, Sylvia. So not only do we have someone beautiful on the outside, but someone beautiful on the inside. And that's something that's hard to find sometimes. So you are both beautiful on the inside and out. And I'm jealous of how beautiful she is on both inside and out. So, but you know, it's just wonderful that you took something negative and made it into a positive, because of you're helping so many people. You know, some people might just sit back and sulk all day long, but you took the initiative to, in honor of Sal, to help other people. And I thank you as a mother, as a grandmother. I thank you for doing what you do, because you never know if it's going to hit your home. And I am forever grateful that you are there to help people that need help. So thank you. And I am thrilled that you are in North Miami Beach. That's
Great.
one of our bragging rights. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Commissioner Smith wanted to ask another question. Thank you, Commissioner Smucker.
No, actually, I got so hung up by thoughts that I wanted to make sure whoever's listening and whoever watches this in the future, that they recognize those ideas. I forgot to ask my question. So when you watch television now, if somebody gets over the virus and they leave the hospital, there is such a big celebration with clapping. So do you also instigate something like that when they're finished with chemo, or do you have some kind of activity for that when you can all share in the joy of that child?
Yes. So when our kids finish treatment, they get to ring the bell at the hospital and say that we are all waiting for these kids. And then we have a party here at the hangout to celebrate with them. There is nothing we want more for our kids than for them to ring that bell. The only thing we want more than that is to not even have the bell to ring.
Yes. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Commissioner. I think Ketley, you had a hand up again.
I forgot to say thank you to Sylvia, to thank her children for us, because, you know, as a mom, you're grieving one child and then you have other children that you must take care of. And these children are so selfless. They help Sylvia. Sammy is always by her side, and the boys. And it is wonderful to see how the entire family glued together for one cause. So I thank you and thank your children as well for keep this thing going. Thank you.
And I think I saw Trisha's hand go up, did I? Or was she just making?
Unmute.
Okay,
Yes,
Trish.
good afternoon, everybody. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Okay, as a cancer survivor here, I would like to make the statement that I would hate for any child to ever have to go through what I went through. And knowing that a child has to go through that is absolutely horrible. And I am so proud of Sylvia and her organization for what she does to prevent this and to help the children have a good day. It is awesome. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Okay, well said. You know, Sylvia, it was just great having you on the forum here. One of the things I wanted to do was to make sure that we didn't all get misty on here, but you know that we have embraced Sal as if he was really ours, and we just want to thank you for being on the show, for sharing a little part of you today. But, you know, we know that there's so much more. We encourage you just to continue to do what you're doing, and to let you know if there's any way that your NMB family can continue to help you in any different ways as you make strides. Just reach out to us. We're a telephone call away. And I know our city embraces this cause because it's a good one, because we all have children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, you name it, of kids who go through this. And for that, I just want to thank you for all of your efforts. We mean it from the bottom of our hearts. Thanks again for being on I don't know a lot of people who are in the League of Legendary Women. And so I'm happy to know that. I just say next time I see you, I expect to see you with a crown and a sash as you rush around. And just to tell you real quickly that the count is 53.7% today for the census. The census counted 53.7, and we continue to push. And Cheryl Stopnick, who's with Sachs Media, a public relations firm, is going to be on tomorrow just to say about to talk to us about the importance of public relations and communication during the pandemic. And then on Wednesday we'll have Jennifer Becker with the Mac and Companies. Thursday we're going to have the library and census, and on Friday we have Pablo Ortiz, who is a vice provost at FIU, just to talk about in this COVID-19 environment. And we're down to probably the second week of this daily talk, because this will have to phase out pretty soon as as we get back and we get away and go to our new normalcy. But I want to thank you so much, Sylvia, today for being on here. And I just say, keep the fires burning, keep the blue roses coming and the blue hearts. We love you much.
Thank you. I love you all. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good day, everyone.